You're now tuned in into the Foster Forward Youth Podcast,
where we empower you to thrive
as we share stories, resources, and inspiration, all designed with you in mind.
Your future empowered.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Foster Forward Youth Podcast. I'm Renny, a youth leader here at Foster Forward, and today we're diving into the conversation about the power of community giving and how it directly impacts fostered youth. If you've been around Rhode Island, you've probably heard of 401 Gives, a statewide giving event that brings the entire community together to support local nonprofits. What does that really mean for organizations like Foster Forward? And more importantly, how does it help young people we serve? To dive into this, I'm joined by Lisa, Executive Director at Foster Forward. Lisa became the Executive Director of the Rhode Island Foster Parents Association at just 32 years old. And now, 2 decades later, she's leading Foster Forward into new territory, including housing development for youth aging out of foster care. Lisa, I'm so excited to have you here today. Thanks so much for joining me. Before we dive in, can you introduce yourself and share a little bit about your journey with Foster Forward?
Sure. Renny, I am so thrilled to be here. I walk by this podcast studio in our office all the time, and I've seen a couple of the features you've already done, and it's such an honor to be on this podcast with you. So thank you for mentioning. I've been with Foster Forward for 21 years, and it's been an incredible journey, but I think at the center of it has been working to empower young people who've experienced foster care and help them to make successful transitions to adulthood and be able to thrive in their lives. And this podcast opportunity, the Works Wonders program, our youth leaders, those are all real examples of how we're trying to live those values every single day.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Lisa, for being here today. Now, let's get started. For those that don't know, can you explain a little bit about 401 Gives and why is it so important for organizations like Foster Forward?
Absolutely. So 401 Gives was the brainchild of the United Way of Rhode Island. When Courtney Nicolato came as their president and CEO, she had a vision of really increasing the culture of philanthropy in Rhode Island and setting aside an entire day for us to celebrate all of the incredible nonprofits in our state. And because our area code in Rhode Island is 401, they decided April 1st, 401.
401 Gives. That makes sense.
To be the annual day where we would center all of our state's nonprofits and give them an opportunity to amplify giving together. And so there's a website that's established for all the nonprofits to be able to sign on to. So it helps organizations who maybe haven't had as much staff or sophistication in their fundraising efforts because of lack of funds. It leveled the playing field for people to be able to take advantage of these tools for online giving. And it gave them a platform to reach out to the community in bigger ways. So we were one of the original organizations that signed on. And now each year it's been about 600 nonprofits that have signed on to 401 Gives and participate. So we've done 5 years. So this will be the 6th year that we're participating. And it's great.
Wow. Well, that's really what makes 401 Gives very special. And how it brings the whole Rhode Island community together, especially Rhode Island has a big community of nonprofits and it's just very giving. I love being from Rhode Island because it's such a big community.
Absolutely.
Now, let's get started. I know 401 Gives has been a major success for Foster Forward in the past. Can you share some highlights from previous campaigns?
Sure. I think one of the things we're most proud of from our previous campaigns is that we've been able to center the voices of the young people we serve in every aspect of cultivating gifts from donors and then thanking them for the impact of their gift. So a couple weeks before 401 Give starts, we will have young people making phone calls out to donors who contributed in prior years and thank them for their gift and tell them a little bit about how the supports from Foster Forward impact them personally. And then just give them a gentle reminder that April 1st is coming up and that we would really appreciate if they would consider giving again this year. And then through the April 1st, and this year you can actually give April 1st right through to April 2nd at 6 p.m. So you
That
have
sounds great.
2 days of giving. But we'll monitor everybody throughout those 2 days and try to reach out to people we haven't heard from, try to welcome new people into donating. And then following those 2 days, young people will again assist us in making personal phone calls out to donors. I think donors really appreciate knowing who's being impacted by the gifts that they're making and being able to make that personal connection with a young person is
And
great.
it does give a really great personal touch. And can you give us an example how this campaign has personally benefited young people?
Absolutely. So one of the things we're really proud about at Foster Forward is that when young people come in to us, in addition to being able to offer them specific programs, like we could help you with workforce training and experiential learning and Works Wonders, or we could help you with navigating to find an apartment through Your Way Home. But if you've got some existing financial challenges or barriers in your life that might otherwise prevent you from being able to dive right into those opportunities, the money that we receive from 401 Gives affords us a level of flexibility to be able to meet young people where they're at. And if childcare is an issue and there's not an available subsidized program, or it doesn't kick in for a couple weeks until you've been on the job for a while, we are able to use donor money to fill in those gaps so that we can immediately meet young people where they're at, fill the need, and get them on a path to success. So it's transportation barriers. It's if they've got a car that broke down or needs a new tire. We can use donor money flexibly to do whatever the thing is that gets that young person on a path to success.
That's incredible. So that's incredible. It helps a lot of young people and it guides them, especially during our adversities throughout life. So that sounds great. Sounds like a really great cause. And I'm happy to hear the impact that 401 Gives has in Foster Forward. So one of the biggest things about 401 Gives is that it's not just about fundraising. It's all about raising awareness. How do you think this initiative helps bring attention to issues like foster care and homelessness, which may not always be on the top of mind to the general public?
That's a great question. I think the 401 Gives team does a phenomenal job shining spotlights on various organizations in the community. They have the 211 van that travels. It's a mobile van that goes throughout the state. And so last year they made a visit to us at Foster Forward during 401 Gives. They did a live broadcast on location. So they have an entire platform where they're lifting up all of our organizations and our work. We each year reach new donors who we've never had before. So when they make that first gift, then we're staying in touch with them. We have an opportunity to customize our own page with 401 Gives. So Allison on our team has been designing a really beautiful page for us to share our story. So anyone visiting the 401 Gives website that day can search for causes that they care about, organizations that support youth homelessness or foster care. When they do the search, Foster Forward's going to come up at the top of the list, and they'll be able to click and learn more about our work and the impact that we're having.
That's incredible. This initiative is very important for our community here at Foster Forward. Thank you so much for sharing. And what are some long-term goals you have for Foster Forward that would benefit from community-driven support?
I have a great question.
Another one.
So can I just say for a second, I'm just so impressed with how you are like just owning this process, doing so great, moderating and doing sessions. And, this is like one of the projects that was kind of a long-term thing. I mean, we had a vision of having a podcast studio, having a space for young people to truly activate their voice in both exploring issues that are important to them, but bringing in people like the director of the Department of Labor and Training or the DCYF director, or I think, is CASA coming soon?
CASA will be here soon, yes.
So, I mean, it's donor support that paid for this equipment, that allowed us to give young people like you a budget to say, how would you like to design this space? What's the vibe? What are we doing? So this is one example of kind of the longer term projects because this carries on. We set it up, and now there will be lots of stories populating our YouTube page. People will be able to see reels on Instagram and on TikTok. And I think this is a way that young people are really driving the work at Foster Forward. And then maybe at like the 30,000 foot level, I'm really proud of the partnership that Foster Forward has with One Neighborhood Builders, Crossroads, and Family Service of Rhode Island. And together with One Neighborhood Builders really leading the development process, we have acquired and are building 144 units of affordable 1, 2, and 3 bedroom apartments in East Providence.
Wow, that sounds great. That sounds great. That's really amazing to hear.
It's really, it's so exciting. And the city of East Providence has been so supportive. The mayor's been incredible. And I think when this property's done, it's going to be more than an apartment complex. It's really going to be a place where individuals, families, young people leaving foster care can build community with one another and really take advantage of social capital with each other, to make more successful transitions for young people to adulthood, for families to be more interconnected with other families, for kids to thrive in school. It's really going to be a center place of activity and community support.
Absolutely. And I do want to thank you for this opportunity. This project, it went from being a dot and it evolved very beautifully. So it's a really great opportunity to sit here and have a conversation with you about community support. Thank you, Lisa.
No worries.
For now, let's talk about how people can get involved.
Okay.
For anyone listening who wants to support Foster Forward through 401 Gives, what's the easiest way to get started?
Sure. So starting at 6 a.m. on April 1st, and if they want to really be an early bird and set their alarm for a few minutes before 6 a.m. and try to take advantage of any of the early bird matches, they can make a donation. We also now have a $50,000 match where every dollar people donate for up to the first 50,000.
Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Sure.
Is that like the peer-to-peer? How does that work?
So that's not the peer-to-peer piece,
Okay.
but we'll talk about
We'll
that
dive
in a
into
second.
that. Mm-hmm.
So Watterson Terminal Services, thanks to our board member, Lauren Watterson, has very generously stepped up to say that every donation that's made on 401 Gives will be matched dollar for dollar by Watterson up to the first 50,000. So if people get up on April 1st and they make a donation, that's going to be matched. If they get one of those early bird specials and get in on the timing, they can go to the website and take a look. But they can go to 401gives.org and punch in Foster Forward, or they can go to our website /401gives. And it'll take them right to the giving page, and they can find a level that they're comfortable with and make a donation. And if they're not able to give on 401 Gives, they can certainly think about giving to Foster Forward at another time, going to our website. We're always looking for recurring monthly donors. One of the things that's going on at the federal level right now is some uncertainty with federal funding. And so when organizations like Foster Forward know that we have people who are giving on a monthly basis, it really helps us think about the budget and
continue that support for our young people.
Absolutely. So that's great. And if folks aren't able to give financially, we're always looking for donations at our community storefront. We are sourcing clothing and furniture, like new and gently used items for everyone from infants to young adults. And that storefront is a 4,000 square foot space where we merchandise all of the items that we receive, but everything's available for free for the foster families and for the youth that we serve. So that's another way people can get involved.
And where are we located?
Oh, we're at 50 Ann Mary Street in the Ocean State Job Lot Plaza in Pawtucket. So we're really grateful. Ocean State Job Lot's been a huge champion and supporter of Foster Forward, and they give us a very discounted rate on our monthly rent at that storefront. And it enables us to have a durable community space where foster families can come and be supported, but also access those material resources for the children in their care.
That's incredible. Thank you so much for everything that you do, Lisa.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, Lisa, let's just piggyback back to peer-to-peer fundraising. Can you give us a little bit more information about that?
Sure. So part of 401 Gives is an opportunity for individuals who want to be champions for a particular nonprofit to sign up to be a peer-to-peer fundraiser. And they can go to the 401gives.org page. They can set up their own peer fundraising page. They can set a goal for themselves of how much they want to raise. And if they pick Foster Forward, they can then share that information out to their friends and families. They can use their social media pages to post and support. And it's a little competitive too.
Okay.
So if they sign up to fundraise for Foster Forward, we have some really cool swag gifts for them just for signing up. And then if they hit certain benchmarks of fundraising through their peer fundraising, we have some added bonus prizes that we will share with them. So we're really excited to do that. I think one of them's a hat. And
well, I have one of the shirts that you might possibly get.
that was our peer fundraiser gift last year in 2024. So you can see great swag, but more than anything, great cause and great impact.
Well, that sounds great to hear. And for those that are interested, you would say they go to 401gives.com? .org and select Foster Forward. And I think you pretty much almost answered all of my questions. So lastly, if you could leave our listeners with one key takeaway about the power of 401 Gives and community support, what would it be?
I think the moment that we're in this country right now is one of uncertainty. And I think a lot of folks, no matter what your politics are or your socioeconomic circumstances, uncertainty creates anxiety for people. And I think one way that we overcome that anxiety and we overcome any challenge that we're facing is when we activate empathy and we create community. And so 401 Gives is the embodiment of what can happen when community comes together. So both celebrating that on April 1st and going to the website and checking out all of the causes. We certainly want support for Foster Forward, but I would just love to lift up that there are so many incredible nonprofits in Rhode Island that we are grateful to partner with every single day who are also deserving of support. So this is a way for folks to really connect into their community, and maybe there are other volunteer opportunities that they can activate and learn about. But when we create a stronger community, we all do better. And I think that kind of goes back to United Way and the way that they started 401 Gives to begin with. I mean, their motto is about live united. And 401 Gives is definitely an opportunity for everyone to live united in our state.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Lisa, for being here, for all of the incredible work you do. It's inspiring to see how 401 Gives isn't about just raising funds. It's about bringing the community together and to uplift foster youth. Once again, my name is Renny Vinas. I am a youth leader here at Foster Forward, and this is Lisa, our executive director. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Bye.